¿Dónde está Harold?
Harold?
Gringo.
You really believe in God?
Of course I believe in God. What kind of person does not believe in God?
I guess I kind of do, but not.
Good evening, everyone. It's Nick here, and I'm speaking to you for Critical Hit Entertainment. And this evening, we'll be reviewing, along with all the comments below, or at least the feedback we've had from our audience, the movie Gringo, which is directed by Nash Edgerton, and his brother also stars in it. These Australian actors and directors, that is. So Joel also actually acts in the movie. So I think he's also a producer for the film. So yes, as you can imagine, Gringo is set in Mexico, and it follows the mild-mannered poor old Harold, who is brilliantly played by David Oyelowo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's a Nigerian name. There's just too many bloody just too many vowels in there, man. Anyway. So David is, he plays a character called Harold, who works for a company that you're really not quite sure of what they do, actually. The movie doesn't really explain it to you. But anyway, he gets sent to Mexico quite often, and he comes back. It looks like it's some sort of drug operation. Not quite sure how they managed to pull it off in America and not get arrested, but apparently they have the operations running in Mexico to try and make a sort of weed pill that when these things will be legalized in America, they'll make a killing. So he gets sent backwards and forwards to make sure of inventory, to make sure the stock is all sorted out. And of course this leads to, well, it doesn't end happy for old Harold. Harold has a pretty fucking bad day, actually. He works for two assholes, played brilliantly by Charlize Theron and Joel Edgerton as Richard and Elaine. And these guys are having an affair at the top level. They're trying to hide it, though it's not really something that people don't know about. I mean, the secretary knows about it, and pretty much everyone knows about it, but they're banging each other. And I must say that the characters are delightful. And that is the thing about this movie. It is the characters are brilliant. They really are quite well fleshed out. They have a lot of fun in this movie. You can see the actors had a lot of fun. Don't think anyone had as much fun as Charlize. She was fantastic in this. She's a right bitch. And I think if you watch this, you'll be using that as well to describe her. She is a real hard ass. She manipulates people. She tries to get exactly what she wants by shagging certain people, by using her breasts or her assets to try and get other people to sign on to this idea of this drug pill to distribute it. So yeah, everything goes wrong when Harold basically finds out that his wife is cheating on him, and he is probably going to be losing his job. And things just spiral out of control. He gets kidnapped, he kind of kidnaps himself. Then he gets kidnapped by this ludicrous gangster. I'm not going to go into too much, but he likes the Beatles. That was one very, very funny thing, and this is the Beatles asking which album was the greatest album, which wasn't the best album. Kind of like, he asks you the question, if you don't answer correctly, you're probably going to lose something. You might lose something anyway. So it's a bit of a roller coaster ride. It is very violent. There's a lot of sort of, I suppose, torture porn to a certain degree. And yeah, I mean, I can see what they were trying to get here, what Nash was trying to go for. It's kind of like a watered-down Pulp Fiction movie. There is a little bit of jumping backwards and forwards in time at the beginning, and namely, it starts, then it goes back 2 days, and then you catch yourself up, and then it carries on with the story. So that, yeah, I mean, it is quite, like I say, Pulp Fiction-y in that regard. It's also quite I don't know, would I want to say 80s vibe, but like I said, it's sort of super violent. There's a lot of action in this too, but it's quite silly action at the same time, if you can say silly action, I suppose. But it is kind of like white knuckle, crazy all over the place, and that is the biggest problem about this movie too. Although the characters are a great deal of fun, and I mean it, they are a great deal of fun. Charlize Theron gets to do some fantastic lines. Some of the jokes are pretty in poor taste as well. But anyway, a lot of the audience like that. But this is the story. I mean, I know what the story is, but it was all over the place. You have characters like these drug mule characters who do very little in the movie to progress any plot points, and quite frankly, as Andre said in the comment below, if they were not there, you could have fleshed out a bit more some of the other characters. Although I do still hold that the other characters are absolutely fantastic, especially Sholto Copley when he comes in a bit later. You probably would have expected him to come in with a South African accent, but he's not doing that. He's actually doing an American accent, quite a good, convincing one too. I love his character. He's a sort of ex-mercenary who's in, I think it's Haiti, and he's trying to help out because he's turned his ways around. And of course, that doesn't really happen. He goes back to being a mercenary in the most ludicrous and funny way, I suppose, possible. But the whole thing is held together by David. He is absolutely brilliant playing Harold. This poor guy being pulled left, right, and centre. He doesn't know what's going on, and yeah, I mean, he's really quite broken. And that was kind of a tonal shift as well. Issues that is in this movie. The first, I'd say, 15-20 minutes, you think this is going to be quite a heavy drama or dramedy, because it is definitely dark comedy here. And that is very inconsistent because you sort of sit in, you feel sorry for the guy. He's busting his ass to try and get money. His wife is spending all of his money. And yeah, you kind of feel very sorry for him. And you think, oh God, is this tone going to stay the whole way through the movie? I thought this was going to be a comedy. And then it suddenly breaks and then the comedy flows in. It does ebb and flow. There are moments where the comedy sort of runs out and it's quite heavy. Again, the story doesn't really help that. I mean, if it was a consistent storyline here and you knew what the end game was, perhaps they would have been able to, I suppose, keep it consistent, the comedy and the action and the drama in it. So, yeah, pretty mixed mash here. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I say, the rest of the audience seemed to thoroughly enjoy it as well, except for a couple of people. But, I mean, it has been bashed on Metacritic and on, you know, all those kind of things, Rotten Tomato and stuff. I think it's sitting on, what is it on Rotten Tomato right now? 39%, which I think is overly harsh, to be honest with you. This is a fun skit and donner movie. And yeah, I suppose if you go in expecting it to be like Pulp Fiction, you're not going to be entertained in any way, mean, or form because the story is just not there. Like I say, I loved it because the characters are fascinating. They are hysterical. It's got quite a nice ending that kind of closes things up. A lot of things happen that you don't expect to happen, I have to say, which are quite nice. That's quite a you know, relief, I suppose. Seeing that the story's not there, you may as well just not know where you're going completely and just throw yourself into the deep end. So yeah, I mean, I think that is quite a hectic, quite a harsh score. Myself personally, I would give it about a 6 out of 10. It is a movie that you'll go in, you will laugh definitely, and you'll walk out and you'll instantly go, "What did I just watch again?" So. Yeah, I mean, as one of the comments again from Andre, thank you very much, Andre, for your very insightful review. It's one of these movies that you might want to miss and not spend money on at the cinema. I don't really agree with that. I think if you are roaming around and you've got 2 hours to kill, because it is almost a 2 hour long movie, which also have issues with that being too long. I think it could have cut out half an hour by cutting the threads of these pointless plot lines. So I think an hour and a half would have done justice. And I think, yes, I think it's worth spending a little bit of money, if you're not in England, because, God, the cinema tickets there are ridiculous. £18 for a fucking ticket? Come on, guys. Really? That's before even the popcorn, Coke, or beer and all. So, yeah, like I say, 6 out of 10 for this. If you are wanting to kill some time in the mall, go and have a quick look at it. Like I say, Charlize Theron is fantastic in it. She's a real meanie, and she pulls it off with such conviction, too. You can see she had a blast in this role. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody, and let us know if you do watch the movie in the comments below what you thought of it, and I'll see you guys around very soon.